Hello, my name is Bogdan and I'm a physicist. I became one because I always wanted to understand how nature works at a fundamental level. I started learning physics in school when I was a kid, doing classical mechanics, electricity, magnetism, and so on. And this made me realize that physics was probably the right way for me to approach and understand nature. There was basically a set of principles and equations that would allow you to predict the outcome of any experiment. And this realization made me feel almost godlike. I felt like reality wasn't arbitrary anymore. Existence and life wasn't just happening to me, but you could control and predict the outcome of everything. This predictive power was almost a wonder for me, and it made me realize that physics had the key to answer all my questions whatsoever. Fast forward to my college years where I started to learn quantum mechanics and my reality was shattered. This new theory was anything but intuitive or predictive. Even though you could statistically predict the behavior of a system, you could never know with certainty all its information. There are some properties of the system that just refuse to play together or fully reveal themselves to us. Couple that with a very interesting mathematical model and with some properties or entities, let's call them, that have no equivalent to the physical world. And I was fully convinced that quantum mechanics is wrong or at best incomplete. There are several arguments within the philosopher community as to why some aspects of quantum mechanics or general relativity are so hard to understand for us. And one of them is that our brains are used to perceive and understand the reality at our scale, meaning that they are used to process events that happen in everyday life because this is what nature trained us to do, and it's part of our survival instinct and evolution as a species. So everything else that happens at a very large or small scale, unless it has a correspondence or it can be modeled by a process that happens at our own scale, will be kind of hard to comprehend or predict by the brain. And this is why some physicists have even given completely up in trying to understand nature at the small scale, to really try to understand quantum mechanics and how these phenomena happen. And the same goes for the black holes and singularities and everything that happens in very extreme cosmic and gravitational conditions. So many physicists have given up on trying to make an effort and understand the phenomena intuitively and rather focus on the mathematical part, let's say, of the models, because logic seems to emulate nature pretty well, or nature to obey logic, and to test their theories experimentally. And this is fine because this is actually the basis of a scientific method. You make some assumptions, you make some predictions, and then you test your prediction and validate or invalidate your theory. However, I do feel like we are missing, or at best underestimating or diminishing, the implication of the intuitive understanding. This, in my opinion, should be the first step when we develop physics theories. We should start with our intuition, with our understanding of a phenomena, our gut feeling, and by the time we write down our postulates or equations, we should already know what to expect on how a phenomenon or an interaction should occur. And the mathematical model and the postulates should only help crystallize or reinforce our ideas, but not guide the next step. And this is why, in my view, mathematics has become the road that pays physics right now instead of intuition. And the models that we build start to become more and more mathematically complex and harder to understand, because there was a rupture after the emergence of quantum mechanics between intuition and mathematics. By starting with an intuitive understanding of how a phenomenon happens, it allows us to build a comprehensible mathematical model and a comprehensible theory in the end that would comprise of real entities, real phenomena, and real equations that all of them describe real physical entities and variables. And it does require more effort in order to fully comprehend a process, but I do feel this is the way to get back the imbalance with nature, with our theories. So I created this channel in order to share my ideas with the world and to build this theory together with you. I'm here because I need your help. I do think you are a scientist. If you like to think about nature, about your existence, about your role in this world. So stay with me a little longer and let's unwrap this mystery together. I think there is a wonderful journey ahead of us, full of wonder and discoveries. I would like to know your ideas in the comments about physics, if you think it's the right method to describe nature, and also how important for you is the role of intuitive understanding. Would you be content or happy to have a master equation that could predict all the things in the universe, and you could just input some parameters and it would spit out the right result and it would be 100% accurate, but you had no capacity of understanding it? Or would you search for answers that your brain could understand? In the next episode, we will talk about the state of physics, the scientific method, and why is mathematics so good at describing nature. Until then, have a wonderful time.